Hello and welcome to your yoga class today. I'm Sarah Bargesian. This is a class designed to help you reboot and reset after a day's work, whether that's at home, working in your home office, or outside of the house. I hope that this class will help you to drop that professional role and to help you come home to yourself so that the rest of the day goes really well. Before we get straight into the class, I want to thank Hash and PT for your patronage, and I look forward to seeing you next week in our live class. If you're not already a patron, do consider becoming a patron by looking at the link below here. So let's go straight into our sequence now to help you disconnect from your professional day and reconnect with yourself and smooth out the rest of your day. Come to hands and knees, with your knees and your ankles the same distance apart as your hands, which are about outer shoulder width apart. Lift up your two sitting bones, lift up your chin, and then pick up your feet and move your big toes to touch side by side. Now sink your hips down towards your heels and come into child's pose. Walk your hands a little further forward so your arms are really straight. Press earth your hands down and bring your forehead either to the floor or perhaps onto a blanket or a block so that your head is resting on something as you outreach your arms and press your hands down. And do the same pressing down with your toenails, with the tops of your feet. Coming into child's pose here for a few more breaths. Use this pose, this shape, as an opportunity to settle yourself relatively still, relatively stable. Take a few breaths here and notice how you feel. Now come back up to hands and knees. Separate your feet again, tuck your toes under and come into downward facing dog. Push your hands forward with your knees now off the floor with less contact on the ground. You're having to use a little bit more strength and awareness to hold the shape. Really feel your body here. Notice the strength of your arms, the strength of your legs. Increase that. Push the hands forward, push down more through the bases of your index fingers and thumbs. And see if you can press a little bit more down with your heels as you squeeze your legs, lengthen the backs of your legs. Now come forward into plank, keeping the strength in your arms and legs. Press your legs a little bit more towards each other here and keep rounding your back. Press your tailbone down, puff up your upper back here. Then bring your knees to the floor and come back to child's pose. Big toes touch side by side. Sink down. Less time here than we did before, so come into the feeling of child's pose as soon as you can. On your next inhalation, pick up your head in your seat, separate your feet, tuck your toes under, and go into downward facing dog as you exhale. Lengthen each inhale and exhale to a comfortable length, not too long, but smooth and even. Hang your head, in fact, nod your head yes and no a couple of times so you know that your neck is nice and long and loose, relatively tension-free. Come forward again into plank. This time bring your knees to the floor, preparing for Cobra Pose. Come all the way down, toenails down, curl up your chest. Lift your shoulders up and back away from the floor. Squeeze them together on your upper back. Downward facing dog. Then walk your hands back to your feet. And as soon as you get here in Uttanasana, bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips and come up to standing. Turn towards the screen and separate your feet to a good outer hip width apart, so a very generous distance between your feet so you can feel a bit more grounded and steady. Turn your palms out to the side walls, and as you inhale, bring your arms up overhead. Now grab your left wrist and lean to the right. Draw your left ribs in And turn your left ribs down a little bit more towards the floor. And as you pull that top hand, get a little bit more length in the right lower back, sorry, the left lower back. Then changing that, draw the left ribs forward and look up underneath your left arm. Squeeze your legs towards each other. Inhale, come up. Change side. So good side stretch here. Lean over to the left. If you sit a lot as you work, it's a really nice way to lengthen out the lower back. So again, as you did before, really straighten and strengthen that right arm, that top arm, and turn those top ribs down a little bit towards the floor. Squeeze your legs strong. Then do the opposite of that. Lift up the under ribs, the left ribs. Look underneath your right arm. And come all the way up. Release that arm. And then interlace your hands behind your back. Press your knuckles down to the floor. Raise your chest for a standing back bend. Push down equally through the bases of your toes and the center of both heels. And lower your chin, look forwards, release your hands. And cross your arms, pressing your elbows down in towards your chest. Give yourself a hug and round down. Look towards your toes. Draw your navel in so your abdominal muscles are toned, are strong. Come up and then change the cross of your arm. So the other arm is hugging in towards you. Press it in. Gently grip your hands around your shoulders. Come up. Release your arms. Bring your arms up overhead. Bend your elbows so you're framing your head and gently draw your arms back. So if you've been sitting at a desk, working on a laptop, or whatever you've been doing, this is a really nice way to open up the chest, strengthen the muscles of the upper back, which are often slightly overstretched and weakened. Then straighten your arms, change the cross of your forearms, hook your fingers around your elbows again. Make sure you're pressing your tailbone down towards the floor, so you're lengthening your spine, and at the same time lift up through the center of your head. Straighten your arms, turn your palms to the side walls, and then paint your fingertips long and wide, bringing your hands down by your sides. Come to the top of your mat. Separate your feet again to outer hip width apart. Turn your palms out to the side walls. Inhale, bring your arms up overhead. Come into chair pose, bend your knees. Press your tailbone down to the floor again as you lift your heart and lift your thumbs. Then look down, touch down, and step just your left foot back. Reach it long behind you, touch down, and bring your back knee down. Bring your hands one by one onto your right thigh. Push yourself up. Raise your heart that little bit more as you push your back foot down. See if you can come into a little bit more of a back bend here, thereby getting a nice lengthening, not only in the left thigh, but also in the front of the left hip. Then, keeping your right hand on your right thigh, reach your left arm up and lean a little bit here to the right. Squeeze the right buttock in, push everything that's on the floor down so that you can reach a little higher. Then undo that side bend. Bring your left hand to the floor and twist. Turn your left ribs towards that right inner thigh. Then reach your right arm up. Turn your right thumb to the back of the room and bring the back of your hand around the left side of your waist. Then let your right shoulder really peel back. Now look down at your right foot, and as you inhale, pick up your back knee. Try and bring a lot of buoyancy and lightness into your hips. Maybe twist a little more. Then release your hand, bring it to the other side of your right foot, and step the back foot forward again. Bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips, come up to standing. Follow through with your arms, bring them overhead. Come back into chair pose. Bring your hands to either sides of your feet. Pick up your right foot, bring the heel high, reach back, touch down, bring the back knee down. Bring your hands one by one onto your left thigh and push yourself up. Squeeze your bottom. particularly the left side, and tack it towards your back heel and reach your right arm up. Really go for touching your fingertips to the ceiling, but keep looking forward. Then lean over to the left. Keep pressing in the left buttock. Push your back foot down to help you lift up your chest. Then come back to center. Bring your right hand down to the floor. Twist. Reach your left arm up. Turn your thumb to the back of the room. Bring the back of your hand around the right side of your waist and press that whole left arm snugly into your body. Look down at your left foot. And as you push everything down, pick up that back knee and keep that back leg as light and as buoyant as you can here. And the whole of the right thigh and the right hip. Could you turn your chest a little bit more? Then release the left hand, bring it to the outside of your left foot. Step forward again. Bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips and keep them there. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Then come into the middle of your mat. So you're looking at the long edge. Bring your hands into your heart. Widen your arms. Step your feet wide. Parallel your feet. Look at your right foot and turn your right toes to the short edge of your mat. Then look at your right knee and slowly bend it, coming into Warrior Two. Make sure you can still see the big toenail there, so the knee is tracking well. Now, from here, straighten your right leg as you inhale. And as you exhale, bend the knee again. 2 more times. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Keep the back leg very straight. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Now, hug yourself again. Keep drawing the left ribs back. As you inhale, open up your arms. Look over your right hand. Bring your hands into a hug again. Inhale, open up. Exhale, hug. 1 more time. Inhale, open up. Exhale, hug. Straighten the right leg. Open your arms out again. Turn the right toes in. Turn the left foot out. Slowly bend your left knee. Warrior Two. Straighten the back leg. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. 1 more time. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Now keep it bent. Hug your arms again. Inhale, open them wide. Exhale, hug in. Inhale, open up. Exhale, hug. 1 more time. Inhale, open. Exhale, hug. Hold the hug. Straighten the left leg. Parallel your feet again. Inhale, open up your arms. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Press your knuckles to the floor. And as you exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees if you need to. Push your feet down with a lot of conviction, grounding, and surety. Inner feet, outer feet. The bases of all the toes, the center of both heels. Firm your abdominal muscles. See if you can maybe fold a touch more. Squeeze your bottom. Then coming all the way up, bend the knee if you need to, knees if you need to. Release your fingers. Now look at your right foot, turn the toes forward, pick up your back heel, bend the right knee, touch down, go back to downward facing dog. Bring your knees down to the floor. To open up that chest a little bit more, walk your hands forward, come into Anahatasana, puppy dog pose. Press your tailbone down towards the backs of your knees. Anabar, this is for you. And then come into child's pose. Raise your head, look at your hands, walk them back. Separate your knees a little bit more here. Big toes touch. Walk your hands forward. Then just a gentle variation here in the arms. Bring your elbows down to the floor. Pick up your hands and press your palms together. Walk your elbows a little bit closer into the sides of your head and draw your thumbnails in towards the back of your heart. If you've got a little bit more length here in your triceps, you could walk your elbows a little bit further away from you. And then stay for a few more breaths here. Notice what's on the ground here, your toenails, tops of your feet, your shins, your knees, your elbows, your head. And try and let all of that be very much held and supported by the ground. Coming back to yourself here after a day of playing a role, a professional role. Use this time, this opportunity to become yourself again. Then straighten your elbows, bring your little finger edges down to the floor, pick up your head, look towards your hands, and then pick up your seat, come to hands and knees, come all the way down to the floor, roll over onto your back, and lie down for Shavasana. Now, really do stay here. I know that quite often people feel like this is when the practice finishes, but in many ways this is where the practice begins. Just being still and unproductive. Close your eyes. This can take practice. Let yourself rest in the way that a cat does, finding a quiet, sunny corner. Be like a cat, totally deserving of rest and pause. And as you lie here, feel your body soften and drop. Encourage it to relax by traveling throughout your body with your mind and finding wherever you might be holding any tightness, any residual effects of the day. Let it all go. And to encourage you to do that, I'm going to read you a short verse here, and then I'll be quiet for another minute to really let yourself soften. Eagle Poem by Joe Harjo. To pray, you open your whole self, to sky, to earth, to sun, to moon, to one whole voice that is you. And know there is more that you can't hear, can't see, can't know except in moments, steadily growing, and in languages that aren't always sound, but other circles of motion. Now bend your knees one leg at a time and roll over to your right side. And as you lie here in this transitional pose on your side, take a few moments here to turn your focus back on to how you feel. How does your body feel now? What's the quality of your thoughts? And how is it all affecting you emotionally? Just noticing all of your states of mind and body here before you go into the rest of your day. Take a couple of deep breaths. Exhale out any residual stress and thoughts of the previous part of your day. Let it all go. Inhale what's to come, the leisure time. And exhale away the professional role. Enjoy the rest of your day. Push yourself up to sit tall, stretch your spine and bring your hands into your heart. And lower your chin. Release your hands, press them down onto your legs. Raise your heart, raise your chin, open your eyes. Namaste. Well done.